Hello, my name is Greg Davis and I'm with CBS ArcSafe, and I'd like to welcome you today to our web presentation on remote switch actuators for the GE PowerBreak 1 and PowerBreak 2 series of insulated case circuit breakers. GE introduced these back in the 1960s for the PowerBreak 1. They come in like a gray face, or they may come with an older blue face. Sometimes they'll come with a round handle, sometimes they'll come with a square style handle. We can work to accommodate both of those. The PowerBreak 2 series came years later. We see these in a lot of data centers. Sometimes we'll see them in industrial chemical facilities as the main on the end of a lineup of motor control centers. The RSA we're going to start with today is the RSA 76. This is made to accommodate all of the 800 to 3,000 to 4,000 amp frame size series. Okay, now I'll caveat that. We'll talk a little bit about some differences based upon mounting here in a little bit. But basically it goes on. It'll go around the face of the breaker. And then we work to set up the RSO 3D, which is going to operate this with 6 strokes. And then we set our times at 6.8 and 6.5. We'll turn our RSO 3 on, let it go through its initialized setup here. We'll check its cycles are 6. We'll check the setting at 6.8, 6.5, so we're good to go. If you're not familiar with this, the RSO 3 has a charge close, and that's because it would accommodate older breakers like the smaller PowerBreak 1, which can possibly charge and close on a single stroke. So that's why it's labeled charge close, and we're going to just push this down once. And now it will actuate the handle the total of 6 times to charge the spring. Okay, so now you can see that it says charge on the spring. I'm just making sure the handle's up all the way right there. Now we can close and trip the circuit breaker. Now, when we take this off, this is kind of like an adult Lego set. You just take off the little IGUS fastener, pull this off, and then you take the water jet handle off like this. Take off the twist magnets, and then stow the RSA. Now, some of the things we see for variations in the RSA, or correction, the GE PowerBreak 2, is sometimes we'll see this mounted 3 inches out in a protruded mount, okay? Sometimes we'll see it where it's actually flush slightly behind the face. So we need to see how the circuit breaker is mounted so we have the proper RSA quoted to you. If you have a big door which has vents all over the place where this metal is going to flex a lot, we have a variation for opening the door, mounting it to the back frame of the circuit breaker, having it fit around the face, and being able to operate it that way. So how this circuit breaker is mounted, along with the large ones over here, can determine which actuator you need. So pictures and measurements are important. Don't just send us a picture of this little face here that says SSD such and such on it. We really need to see the full picture of how this is mounted in the switchgear to know that we're quoting you the proper equipment for your needs. This is the small version of the GE PowerBreak 1. It comes in 800 up to 2000 amp sizes. It may have a trip timer out here. You can have Kurt keys and other stuff. We have RSAs to accommodate all of that. So again, pictures of this type of switchgear are important to us. You can send your information to info@cbsarcsafe.com, or you can call us at 1-877-472-3389. Now, on the first generation, it's an RSA 91 series. And if we were to compare this one, you can see that I've got the close and trip buttons over here, and on this one, they're on the diagonals, okay? And so there's a lot of variation in the operating mechanisms to include electrically operated versions of this. And so you can tell those because you have a black button in the middle that you're going to have to defeat to be able to manually operate the circuit breaker, okay? So this is the 91M, and it's for 800 to 2000 amps, manually operated. It's going to be one cycle, and Ben has gotten the RSO 3D already set up for me. And if you ask a question, do we have Martech products in the remote switch kit for this? We do have some. You'll have to check this stuff online. So we've got closed trip only for those type of operations for both the PowerBreak 1 and the PowerBreak 2 for certain models. If you need just that functionality, again, we need to have the pictures to verify what you have to make sure we're getting you the proper quote. Okay, so for this one, again, we're going to hit charge close once. Okay, we're good there. So handle goes up, handle comes back down, spring's charged. And that's how simple that is to set up and operate. And again, most of the time I've seen these in data centers. Sometimes you'll see them in hotels or not so much heavy industrial places, but that's their usual place of application. This is the 91 AM, and so one of the things to watch out for on this style of breaker is you can have bottom feed and top feed variations, and what happens then is your trip and your close buttons can get reversed on the face. So again, we need to see the breaker, we need to see which version you've got, and know that so that when we get your RSA all set up, we do that right. It makes a difference.
Greg, will you go over the changing the settings?
Yes, I will. So I'll do that on this one. Let me just just get this. There we go. All right. So this is the RSA 91AM for GE PowerBreak, 2500 to 4000 amp, manually operated. Yeah, let's see. I got to check the data label here real quick. It says it takes 3 cycles, 3.8 and 3.9. No AR. So for cycles, we'll see what we got set. We got 1. We need to set 3. 3 is set. I think I said 3.8 and 3.9.
That is correct.
Okay, oops. If I go too far, it'll just go around. And if you ask me what's the maximum number of cycles we've seen on anything, it's 23. So we have a limit right now in the system for 30 cycles is the maximum number. The SE switch, which is the Schneider's insulated case circuit breaker, that takes like 23, and we affectionately call the RSA for that the choo-choo, because it goes up and down like a choo-choo train wheel. Okay, so we've got this set now, so we hit charge close. And you hear that the spring is charged now. We can verify that real quick just by checking and taking a look on the face here and verify it. Okay, and we do have that indication. So now we're going to hit the close button and the trip button. And that's the basic operation of the RSA 96.1 AM. Things to note again, these can come with a nice thick metal face. They can come with Kirk keys. They can come with grates all around here. And we need to know which ones you have so that we get you the proper RSAs. If you have questions, again, we have free site evaluations so that our reps can come on and see what you've got and then let us know so that we quote you the right products. 877-472-3389. You can call or send an email to info@cbsarcsafe.com. This is one of our MarTech products for this series. The important thing is to make sure you get the corner located up here so that this positions correctly. It's got you can tell the magnet's going to want to try and put it wherever it wants, but you got to make it go where it needs to be. Like that for this thing to operate properly. One of the things the MarTech unit does not do is it does not charge the handle for you. So you are manually going to have to charge the handle for this. Now if you have a breaker that closes when it's not supposed to, when you get to the bottom of the stroke, okay, that breaker's trying to tell you need maintenance. Okay, none of our equipment will fix a problem that you have for maintenance. You need to call one of our service shops or your service shop for your circuit breaker to get it fixed so it's operating properly. 1, 2, 3. So now that that is properly charged, we got the spring charge, now we can connect our RSK for the PowerBreak 1 series for this large one. Normally, this would be a 30-foot cord, just to let you know, or a 50-foot cord, depending upon how far you need to get away. But for our purposes today, we're just using the little ponytail here. Yes. Now, for how this is going to work is you'll hold down the enable button, then you'll go to close. and that's its operation. So again, you have to manually charge these, and then you use this for the close and the trip. Always know what your arc flash hazard boundary is, so that when you're doing this, you can stay outside of the boundary. I can't tell you the number of times, whether I've done this internationally or domestically, the first time people see an RSA operate or remotely racking something, they like to stand there in front of the switch. And you're like going, no. There's a reason you got this big placard here that says 10 feet away. Step outside of the boundary to operate the equipment. Again, if you need equipment from us, call us at 1-877-472-3389 or info@cbsarcsafe.com. Do we have any questions, Ben?
Open it up for questions.
Okay, so we'll wait a couple minutes to see if we've got questions coming in. The first place I saw GE PowerBreaks 2 was in data centers. The first place I actually saw GE PowerBreaks 1 was actually in a chemical manufacturing facility in, I think, Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. So then I started seeing them more in other types of applications, sometimes in government facilities and sometimes in medical facilities and things like that. So it doesn't matter where you are. If you've got these types of circuit breakers, you probably do have arc flash problems. You need to make sure you get your arc flash studies done and find out what is the right product for you.